On Sunday, January 28, 2024, the Knoxville News-Sentinel published a front-page spread about Jerry Glenn performing police work during a search warrant raid on September 3, 2021, while not being certified by the state of Tennessee to do so. Another front-page spread was published on March 25 regarding similar issues with Captain Eric Edlin. Sheriff Tom Spangler wrote and posted a response to the articles. The sheriff's response contradicts the reality of the situations. It begins by saying that Jerry Glenn is a bonded deputy. This statement is absolutely false. There are no bonded officials or employees in Knox County anymore. On September 1, 2022, the Knox County Commission issued a resolution to self-insure its risk of loss instead of obtaining required bonds or insurance. That means that any and all liability for the actions of elected officials and their subordinates falls squarely on the shoulders of the tax-paying citizens. Prior to this resolution, the sheriff and trustee were the only bonded county employees. The sheriff's deputies, also known as subordinates, were not bonded. If so, subordinates would have been listed along with the sheriff as the principal in the bond. As you can see, the bond only lists Tom Spangler. Next, the sheriff's response states that Glenn and Edlin do not fall under the jurisdiction of P.O.S.T. This is a very incorrect statement. It is very clear that if these personnel are performing police work, they must be P.O.S.T. certified. There are no exceptions. Let's have a look at the police work in question. The following is video and audio footage from the warehouse raid that the newspaper article references. You will see Glenn and Edlin enter the building with weapons drawn, point their guns at occupants, restrain occupants, clear the building and enter a residence without a warrant. By the way, the warrant for the business was to inspect inventory purchasing records. There was not a search warrant for the upstairs residence.
It's 2:57, and this is the law.
Everybody hands out!
Sheriff, I'm search warrant.
I'm holding the law.
Go. Search warrant.
Sheriff's office! I'm holding the law, fellas.
Put your hands behind your back. Turn your hands.
Sorry.
Turn it the other
Which
way.
way?
There you go.
Okay.
Right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Trying to do everybody through the back.
They're still going.
Yeah.
Got it?
Push. Hold on. Hold. Good.
Behind you. You got cuffs over here. I don't got cuffs. Come with me. Out here. Go. Cuffs. Oh, sorry.
Here. Yeah.
Hands behind your back. Search warrant.
The response goes on to say that Jerry Glenn was on the search warrant for the catalytic converter case. He was not. The two individuals listed on the warrant are the affiant Lee Strelicky and serving officer John Sharp. However, Glenn was listed on the personnel list, with the role of perimeter. Christian Pickett and Tyler Ballard's roles are also listed as perimeter. They are the individuals you see with rifles shouldered during the initial entry and soon thereafter kicking in the residence door. A perimeter role typically remains on the outside of a forced entry area in case a suspect tries to flee the scene. As for Eric Edlin, you can see that he is not on this list. The sheriff's response attempts to justify Glenn's presence during the raid. It states that he was there because of alleged information regarding hazardous and flammable materials. It mentions a second fire and explosives investigator, which was Aaron Allen. Let's look at video showing the inspection of the chemical storage section of the warehouse. Aaron Allen is taking notes, but where is Jerry Glenn?
Clean Harbors.
Clean Harbors.
Yep.
Solution, pollution,
in the
solution.
past.
I've used EPCO for biological, but I've never used it for chemical.
No, they're Clean Harbors messes with this stuff all the time. They're very familiar with it. They'll take that caustic and recycle it and use it to clean tankers. And then the nitric, they know how to properly dispose of that, and so that would be the best thing.
You said when you worked for the sheriff's department, what sheriff's department did you work
I worked in St. Francis County, and I just drew a blank with the county right beside it in Wynn, Arkansas.
Arkansas.
So which precious metals are in solution?
Platinum and palladium. And there may be traces of rhodium.
I could have gone all the way. Okay.
Let me get it. You guys are all decked out and stuff. Let me.
Yeah, that one. See him around on Marks.
Yes, indeed.
Good job. Jerry's on. He's after that. Yeah, equally, Mark. So we're good. Jerry, that's twisted my video.
Jerry Glenn seems to have had zero interest in the chemicals for which the sheriff states was his purpose. He is 100 yards away and giving false witness regarding a warrant that was not read. By the way, Mr. Browder was in the state of Georgia at the time. Sheriff Spangler then states that Jerry Glenn was adequately trained to clear the building. Wouldn't that require being post-trained and certified? Sheriff Spangler makes it clear that Glenn and Edlin were operating at the sheriff's discretion. Tennessee statute clearly states that anyone who appoints an applicant who knowingly fails to meet the standards of requirements, along with the person signing the salary check, are guilty of Class A misdemeanors. Tennessee statute also states that a person commits criminal impersonation who pretends to be a law enforcement officer for the purpose of engaging in an action that is ordinarily and customarily established as a law enforcement activity, and causes another to believe that the person is a law enforcement officer. This is also a Class A misdemeanor. The sheriff's opening statement says, "I am sure you know P.O.S.T has been on site since you initiated the complaint." It seems that P.O.S.T has actually been on site since shortly after Tom Spangler became sheriff. You see, Sheriff Spangler is in fact a member of the P.O.S.T Commission who was appointed by the governor in 2019. On December 13, 2024, the P.O.S.T Commission investigator presented his report to the commission. And then, Sheriff Spangler apologized.
P.O.S.T investigative report. P.O.S.T investigators report findings of an investigation conducted with the Knox County Sheriff's Office. Investigator Krieg, if you would, for the record, state your name and position for the record, and go ahead.
P.O.S.T investigator Kevin Krieg. P.O.S.T initiated an investigation on whether the Knox County Sheriff's Department was working a fire investigator named Glenn and Eric Edlin as a full-time deputy. My investigation included a visit to the Knox County Training Academy to obtain records on these individuals, dispatch CAD records with the Knox County 911 Center, and I also had a meeting with Knox County administrators, including Sheriff Spangler. It was determined that both Edlin and Glenn had not attended a basic police academy. They both have service training records and firearms qualifications on file with the Sheriff's Department. Edlin did complete the Knox County Reserve Deputy Academy in 2011. Both employees did have documents in their files, and Edlin actually met pre-employment standards in his file. During my visit with Sheriff Spangler and staff, it was recommended that Edlin complete a basic academy since all he had was Reserve Academy done in 2011. If he's continuing law enforcement actions as a full-time deputy, that was recommended. I was informed that Edlin's main role in the Sheriff's Department is he's supervisor over the Reserve Program with deputies in Knox County, and his administrative role primary is his duties. It's mentioned during the meeting with Edlin's Reserve Academy might have met the same standards that a basic academy would meet, but it determined through the records and stuff like that, those hours were short, so he did not meet a full academy record, and that he would have to complete a full academy to be a full-time deputy. Knox County later determined that he, like we said, he did not meet those hours with his training records, so Knox County is going to be sending that individual to a full academy. Communications with Knox County recently stated that he would be going to a full basic academy, I believe, in February of 2025 to meet the requirement there. And right now, he continues to work as an administrative role and also include mental health transports back and forth between hospitals and stuff like that. I was informed that the blue lights in Deputy Glenn's vehicle as a fire investigator, he does not need those in his role anymore. Those blue lights are going to be taken out of his vehicle. I believe they've already been taken out of his vehicle at the time of our last meeting. Glenn will be given a new vest patch that reads fire arson investigator or fire investigator, and he won't wear police patches any longer or sheriff's enforcement or any deputy patches on his tactical vest. If he does have to participate in any law enforcement raids, because he is a fire investigator, he does enforce fire codes and arson investigations and stuff like that. So he would obviously have a vest on if he was participating in enforcement issues regarding those crimes, but they would say fire investigator on them. That's all I have. Knox County cooperated with this investigation along the whole way, and I met with their training staff and also the sheriff made himself available for a meeting, and all the records that I asked for were provided to me. So that's what I'm just presenting to the commission today. If you guys have any questions.
Is everything in compliance, Kevin?
As of right now, with him in an administrative role and not doing any enforcement roles on his own, yes. Blue lights taken out and no police identification on him, that he would be in compliance right now. And then when he finishes the police academy, if he starts in February 2025, once he graduates, he could be a full-time deputy doing enforcement issues or whatever the sheriff decides to have him do. But like I said, right now, he's just an administrative role and he's in charge of the reserve deputy program.
I make a motion to approve the board.
Russell second.
Second.
Russell.
Did you second?
I did.
Okay. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Let me say this to the board, on behalf of myself, sitting on this board, it's kind of embarrassing that when you find something like that, but we wanted to make sure that we took care of it. And Dennis, thank you for coming. We appreciate you, and Investor Creed, thank you both for helping out and bringing some things to light that sometimes that unfortunately the people sitting up top don't know of a lot of things that may be going on, and we're thankful for that. But my apologies comes to this board, and for me, it's embarrassing to have to come to this board and have something like that done. But I apologize to this board.
Sheriff Spangler apologized to the board, but will he apologize to the victims of these untrained rogue officers? The public servants sworn to protect and serve have done the complete opposite, with impunity. Families have been torn apart. Livelihoods completely destroyed. When will enough be enough? We think that time is now. On February 18, 2025, the Knoxville News Sentinel published an article detailing the conclusion of the investigation and Spangler's apology. Will the exposure from these news articles bring more victims forward? Will the district attorney's office press charges? Or will they stay silent as usual?
We're going into this, with every weapon that we can.
So this actually exposing the truth will help future people that were that have been or may be in similar situation.
That's the idea, and that's the goal. You know, once you have exposure, then you can have a legitimate fight. Right now, it's not legitimate. It's a sham.